Welcome back to week 4, day 5 of the VCS Winter 2021. Playoffs are drawing closer and we have some pretty important matches coming up in the fight for playoffs. My name is 𝘀𝘀cie and with me on the desk are 𝘀𝗀𝗋𝗋 and 𝘀𝗀𝗃. And 𝘀𝗀𝗋𝗋, it's your first time on the show, so how are you doing?
Oh, extremely nervous. I am terrified. I won't lie. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Always an exciting opportunity, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these teams can bring to the table. Because I've been doing a little bit of research, and let me tell you, I'm thinking we might have a couple of upsets on the cards today.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it before a little bit, and I have two, I won't call Team Secret fans on the desk, but at least two people that are definitely expecting Team Secret to do well. 𝘀𝗀𝗃.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just gonna say, from what I watched this week, these four teams that we have today have looked probably the worst in among all teams in VCS, and Team Secret is the one that looked the least worse. So number one, we could unironically get a win from them, and number two, it's going to be a hell of a day. It's a clockwork day, full of fiesta to welcome 𝘀𝗀𝗋𝗋 here, and I want to see blood.
And you're talking about the teams not looking too well, but it's also the fight for the last playoff spot. We only have one playoff spot left. You can take a look at the standings. And 𝘀𝗀𝗋𝗋, they just won against Team Secret 2-1 yesterday, and they're basically the direct competitor for 𝘀𝗶𝗃 esports because 𝘀𝗶𝗃 has a 2-0 head-to-head against 𝘊𝗀𝗋𝗀, and they have a pretty good match schedule coming up, so their strength of schedule is not too bad. So if they take a win here against Team Secret, they are on a really good course to just make playoffs, even though they are right now only 5th place. And Team Secret, they are the team to play spoiler right now.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, Team Secret, the team looking to play spoiler. As also, they are out of the playoffs, unfortunately, with only those 2 wins picked up so far. But in all honesty, looking at these teams in general, I think that none of these teams in this tournament at all should have 0 wins. They all look like teams that are strong and solid and have a lot of positives going for them. It's just been a little bit of a case of too many mistakes or a little bit of over-aggression when the engage isn't necessarily quite right, and that does sometimes start to cost you as the game goes further and further. And I am quietly thinking that Team Secret does have a decent chance, though, because I think stylistically in this matchup today, they've actually got a really decent matchup against their opposition.
Yeah, I think they have a decent matchup, and it's also important to say that not only do we have Team Secret playing today against 𝘬𝗍, we also have 𝘊𝗀𝗋𝗀 playing later on against Team Flash. And Team Flash is also one of the teams you just mentioned should actually not have 0 wins because they're not looking too bad. They are looking like if they can figure out their problems just a little bit, they should be able to at least take a win or 2. So both teams, 𝘊𝗀𝗋𝗀 and 𝘬𝗍, they have to win today because those are, in theory, the lowest standing teams that they play against, but also the teams that could upset the most. So let's take a closer look at the first matchup and take a closer look at said Team Secret, because that is the team we're looking to upset 𝘬𝗍.
Yeah, I mean,
Indeed.
Sorry.
No, whatever. Team Secret, okay, they're eliminated from playoff contention, so they don't have much to play for. But on the other hand, they've had revitalization, if I could say, when 𝘀𝗀𝗋𝗀 joined last week. And with him on the roster, they have looked much more proactive, much more coordinated. He drives the engage. He's always the one calling the best shots and giving Team Secret the direction that they haven't found before. So, okay, the split is done for them, basically, but they still have an option to build up chemistry and figure out what's working, keep it for the next spring split, and try to improve on what they already have here. So, yeah, for sure, a win or a loss for them doesn't really matter in the standings, but it matters from a holistic point of view in the long run, what they want to achieve, what they want to build with this roster, if they're gonna keep some of the rookies, if they want to make substitutions. And I think like 𝘀𝗀 is a key member that should be kept. And I mean, we could see also an upset here, given how SBTC has looked in the recent weeks.
Yeah, talking about 𝘂𝐶, they are the team that needs to win to have an, I don't want to call it easy path to playoffs, because they still have to win the other games. But if they win today, their match against 𝘀𝗰 is basically just guaranteed playoffs slot on the line. So winning here today is pretty good for them. And yeah, recollect. Tell us a bit about 𝘂𝐶 in recent times. You already said you liked Secret's chance to upset. Still, they have something going for them, 𝘂𝐶 do, right?
Yeah, of course. And I think, as a team, they are, they're a middle of the pack team for a reason. There's a reason why they're not at the bottom, and overall they're fairly solid across the board. I mean, 𝘀𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀 has been a pretty stable bot lane. Nothing particularly wrong with them. I think 𝘂𝗀, honestly, is probably quite underrated. I think has looked fairly solid as a in the mid lane, pretty much a staple in most of their aggressive-based plays. If they're going to go for anything rotation-based, whether that's towards the top lane or the bot lane, 𝘂𝗀 is kind of driving that. And at the same time, you've got 𝘀𝗀 in the top lane, who's doing the majority of the damage share for these guys, about 26% out of sort of the entire share there in the top side. And piloting things like this Kennen, it makes a lot of sense. However, I did mention before that I'm a little bit worried about the team, and specifically it comes towards 𝘀𝗀 and Penguin. It feels like for 𝘀𝗀 is very vulnerable to ganks, ends up getting tower dived a lot and falls behind, kind of gets punished repeatedly by a lot of teams, and it has shown to be a bit of a vulnerability for this team, at least in recent weeks. And when you combine that with the fact that Penguin is a very passive jungler, realistically speaking, spends a lot of that time, in the Amazon rainforest, just farming it out and checking out the exotic creatures, it does create a bit of a dynamic where against such a proactive jungler here from the side of 𝘀𝗀, you could have some problems.
At least for talking about the junglers, we see some jungle bans. Italy, definitely a jungle ban. Graves can be both, can be solo laner, can be jungler still. So those two are already out of the race, and I like the first pick TF. Also, on top of that, we have 𝘁𝗀 in the mid lane. 𝘀𝗶𝗏𝗀 again for Team Secret. They just like to swap their mid lane.
Yeah, they've tried to, as I said before, they've been experimenting a bit between 𝘁𝗀 and Jerry. Both have had good moments, both have had bad moments, but they're finally trying to, maybe find an equilibrium. And 𝘁𝗀 is looking more solid as of recently. We've had a very bad opinion on him at the beginning of the split, but now it seems that Team Secret finally found a good role for him as a kind of facilitator for 𝘀𝗀. On the side of SBTC, meanwhile, we have a Renekton like first pick, which is perplexing. I appreciate the choice of putting celebrity on a late game scaling pick. Like, this guy played an ungodly amount of Jhin, which everyone hates in the VCS. I mean, in the VCS English casting team, everyone hates the Jhin, but VCS teams love it. And finally, they stopped doing that. So that is a already good signal that SBTC maybe want to have an insurance for the late game.
Yeah, and can we just talk quickly about the other side of the draft? Because we've got so many globals and so much tempo available already being picked up. We've got ourselves the Nocturne with the Paranoia. You got the Destiny with the on the Twisted Fate here for 𝘁𝗀, who, we mentioned before, has been slowly going into finding some form, and specifically these roamers are, what has worked out the best for Team Secret. Getting that early proactivity that we mentioned is going to be so important in this one against such a passive jungler. Pair that with the Kennen, you've got yourself a lot of dive potential towards the top lane. We've already mentioned, 𝘀𝗀 kind of struggling to survive those, so I like the proactivity that's coming through here from Team Secret, and definitely looking to build towards an early aggressive dive towards the top lane when those level 6 marks comes online.
Also, just let me add, it's not a fun time to be an AD carry. It's not a fun time if you see TF, Nocturne, two champions that can just constantly dive the backline without problems. You cannot zone those two champions. They can just jump in, and then there's a cannon waiting in the flanks. So I wouldn't be surprised if they ban out even supports that keep Jinx safe, but it looks like they are looking more for mid lane picks that could match TF.
Okay, so disclaimer, everyone knows that I hate the cannon. I absolutely despise it, and it's terrible. And VCS teams are especially bad at playing cannon. That said, okay, 𝘁𝗀 might be a useful pick to peel around him, to put some distance between your team and the cannon. I would have even preferred the 𝘁𝗀, which I know that Penguin should be able to play, to kick the rat away if he tries to flank, if he tries to go with his big time ultimate, just kick him away, and at that point, Team Secret team fighting already starts to collapse, and then you have a way to keep your Jinx safe from that kind of threat. Let's see if they go for some disengage. Like the Gragas is a good option in the support to create space, as we say sometimes in Dota, to allow the Jinx, the celebrity, to peel, to keep distance from these enemies to kite and keep her safe. So what's missing also? Like some mid laner. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea to give Hero. Let's remind everyone that Hero is a top laner actually. So his laner pool is a bit more shallow compared to the other mid laners.
Mid lane potentially.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to mention with this Gragas pick is it's kind of a read as well on the opposition targeting out 𝘁𝗀, because this Gragas is known to have really rough matchups into these poke-based supports, but into engage-based supports is specifically known as a really strong counter matchup. So reading the fact that support champion pool was essentially just engage-based melee supports, Leona, Nautilus, Thresh, that's basically all we've got, so it makes a lot of sense to lock it in for that reason. And with Galio on the table as well, you have potential to match TF roaming if you want to, but there is still that option of moving that Gragas into a solo lane, playing that roam to mid, like you mentioned. Oh. I like that call, that's beautiful. And the Taric for the counterplay against this dive comp. I love what we're seeing.
I just somehow knew it when they picked Gragas. Felt like they want to go for Renekton mid lane and just give Hero another top laner to play in the mid lane. But the Taric against the dive, that is actually quite a cool idea. But is it fast enough, and are you able to use it right now? Because I've not seen Taric in like ages.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, yeah, you have that. I was gonna say the Taric has been like, it's naturally a matchup that's very good into melee-based supports, right? It's something that we've seen a lot of, at least in the past. On top of that, it makes a lot of sense if you're willing to use it preemptively. So as soon as you see Destiny Gate, or as soon as you see, assuming that you set up adequate vision control towards the bottom side to watch it out, and as soon as you see the darkness hit, you just instantly pop the Taric ulti. You drop that Cosmic Radiance, and it should fall before Nocturne can hit you. At which point, you're going to be protected for the initial section, gives you a lot more counterplay options. And as long as your AD carry is running, Cleanse and doesn't just turbo grief it, you should be absolutely fine to survive against things like that gold card.
Okay, so Cricket, Clockwork, where are we going? Where are the junglers starting?
The Team Secret started with a very good opening composition, and the message was clear: we're gonna dive you, and that allowed SPTC to get them for themselves a very good kiting peeling composition. And if they manage to survive the early game long enough to allow the Jinx to scale, to allow the 𝘁𝗀 to have enough items to make the damage in late game team fights, SPTC should take this.
So SE, good comp, good read on the draft, but there's always this danger of getting picked up. And if I have learned one thing from the VCS, it's they're constantly willing to brawl, and they're not super hyped about setting up a lot of vision before going for a play or waiting for the perfect situation. If they see a chance to engage, they will definitely take it. So Recollect, who are you voting for?
It's a difficult one. It's going to come down to whether or not that first Paranoia Destiny Gate play works out. Because if it does, you know for a fact 𝘁𝗀 does not let this game out of his grip. It's going to absolutely take over it. However, if we're talking better draft wins, I'm going to have to give it to the opposite side. But this is the VCS, so Team Secret is taking this one.
Oh,
You know
okay,
it.
okay.
You know it.
Also, if you're wondering why we are still talking heads instead of the gameplay, it's just a small delay, probably. That happens once in a while. If you have ever watched VCS or competitive League of Legends, that's just how it goes. So I would say enough of us. Let's head it over to our casters, 𝘀ecie and 𝗀𝗋𝗋.
Come on, Team Secret.
Happy to take it away because we have plenty to talk about. 𝘀𝗋𝗋. We don't get to cast together enough. You need to stop being a productive member of society so that we can talk VCS more. This is a classic Team Secret comp. They're really only missing the 𝘀𝗋𝗋 or the 𝘀𝗋𝗋. But the TF, the 𝘁𝗀, this is pretty much their bread and butter. 𝘀𝗋𝗋, you haven't added a source for yourself according to chat. You are muted. You need to add an audio source for yourself.
Yes, I was muted. That is unfortunate.
I'm just going to keep talking. The points
I'm
𝘀𝗋𝗋 were
here
making.
now. I'm here now.
You're here now?
Yes.
Do you want to repeat yourself then?
Well, I was intrigued by the Ezreal pick because we haven't seen Ezreal in a very long time. The Cannon's also new, but they can experiment a lot because it's Team Secret and they're out of players' contention. So that didn't strike me as too unconventional. But the Ezreal, yeah, I haven't seen it in any of my games, in any professional games. So really unsure what to make of the Ezreal. Probably just a weak side option to get away from some of the aggressive dives coming in from SBTC.
Yeah, what do you think of this Taric pick? I think Recollect pointed it out on desk. It's good into the Nocturne if he wants to go for those picks and stuff. But is it worth blowing a Taric ult just to stop a Nocturne? And he can't really, you can't do that in the laning phase. What do you think of this Taric pick overall?
It's curious. It came in as a last pick. Definitely something they prepared. I'm not sure if entirely just for the Nocturne, though it's pretty obvious that the Nocturne is an option when DNK is on the other side, because it's one of his favorite champions, so maybe it's just the counter strategy to Nocturne. I'm not sure if it can actually reach or connect in time to protect you from the Nocturne, because it's a 2.5 second arm duration, right? You need 2.5 seconds till the ultimate is in effect. And Nocturne tends to be very quick when he flies in and kills you.
I mean, so I think he would be able to get the first hit on you, but he would have to literally one-shot you.
That's true.
And he doesn't do that. He does need a couple of auto attacks.
So what I specifically like into Team Secret as a whole, not just the Nocturne, is that Team Secret tends to overextend and go for aggressive fights when they're behind or even just generally in the mid game. Their biggest weakness is the mid and late game. And they tend to just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks and just go for fights over and over again. So Taric is one of the best champions against this kind of playstyle. When the enemy team oversteps just a little bit and overcommits to a fight, you just press your ultimate, you kite back, and suddenly you win every single team fight. So it makes a lot of sense to me, but can it actually lane? We haven't seen Taric in a very long time, and usually the laning phase is his biggest problem. We know in late game he's one of the strongest champions in the game, so I'm not worried for the team fighting aspect of the Taric. I'm more worried about the early game and how much he can impact the game. 𝘀𝗀, and on the other side, has been very proactive, and if you give him too much of an opening, I think Team Secret might run away with this early game here.
It is possible. We saw that last time DNK brought out the Nocturne, he was ulting every 10 seconds because he had that Axiom arc. It was doing some really, really disgusting things. If he can follow up on that performance, I should say. Excuse me. That will be a fearsome sight to behold. Compositions aside, though, I think, Team Secret, they have bounced back a huge amount. They are a 7th place team. They are locked out of playoff contention. But is it going too far that they don't play like a 7th place team anymore?
I'm kind of split on this, because on one hand, we had some very good outings with 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶 coming in and them looking revitalized and almost taking serious and then looking competitive against with some of the better teams. But then this week, their performance hasn't really inspired me too much. I feel like they've looked like a 7th place team. They are better than a 7th place team in the early game. I'll definitely give you that. I think they're a very decent early game team. I believe the 5th best early game team in the league. So clearly higher than their standings suggest. But then the late game falls apart a lot of the time, where, especially in this matchup as well, Team Secret should be a better early game team. They've drafted maybe a stronger early game, you could argue, with more agency on jungle and mid lane, especially. But then 𝘀PTC should always be the ones winning the fights, having the better setups in the late game. So this might just be a little bit of a race against the clock from the side of Team Secret to see, can they actually break the game open at 20 minutes and drive it home at 25 minutes? Or will they go to 30, where it's very likely 𝘀PTC or 𝘬 can strike back and secure the game for themselves? So it's a little bit of a race condition here, but Team Secret is not dead. They're not completely hopeless, but I think they are the 7th place team.
Yeah, fair enough. I suppose what I'm getting at is that, unlike someone like Team Flash that is definitely being viewed as a free win, I don't think that's fair for Team Secret anymore. I do think teams have to really do their absolute best against them. I think 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶 has, as I said before, revitalized this team. And I mean, DNK's had a good split. He's on the 7th place team, but he hasn't been the 7th worst jungler. He's actually had a good split.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this week he had this 𝘁𝗰𝗋 game, which is one of those games you would flame him for all the time, right? You're not the biggest...
Yeah, I did. I was casting it, and I did flame him.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, I hate the champion. I think it's one of the most useless champions in the game, especially in the pro environment. And if you pick 𝘁𝗰𝗋, Ego actually made it work. He won a game on 𝘁𝗰𝗋, but it was not due to him playing amazingly. It was more his team providing for him and letting him scale into the late game.
I think that's the one I was casting.
Yeah, but DNK, that's not the one. He's really not the player to do this. His team can't carry him to the late game. He has to carry his team, not only to the late game, but also through the late game as the veteran number 1. So yeah, I hate when DNK tries to go for these kind of champions. I like the Nocturne. I like when he goes for Kindred, because he understands how to play the early game on this champion. His pathing generally is very apt, and he knows where to go on his different champions. So just stick to Kindred, stick to team fighting champions that can also impact and carry the later stages of the game, because no one else in your team can pick up the slack. And we're finally on the Rift.
We're 2 minutes into the game, in fact. Thankfully, nothing has happened, as it just looks like a little bit of farming has gone on. We can't see the scoreboard at the moment to see if there were any interesting jungle roams, but we'll find out soon. It is this Renekton in the mid lane, as we knew. Hero taking that one up against a Twisted Fate. He will get shoved in by 𝘁𝗏𝗀, but he should be totally fine in the matchup. And 𝘁𝗏𝗀, he'll survive the onslaught of Kennen as well. Junglers seem to have started on opposite sides of the map, so Nocturne potentially pressuring up towards the top side. Xin looking like he wants to head towards mid.
So one of my main issues with 𝘀PTC esports is the mid lane. And Hero, at the start of the split, he actually looked very decent in the mid lane with his top lane champions, but now he's showing a lot of issues. 𝘀𝗀𝗋, yeah, he disengages successfully, should be fine. He's showing a lot of cracks in the armor. His champion pool is just not up to par with all the other mid laners, and especially on this patch where stuff like Victor has risen in priority, TF is coming in more, Ryze is still one of the priorities in this league. He can't play any of those champions. The most mid-laney champion he plays is maybe, you could argue, Irelia or Akali, and none of them have really worked for him either. So I am kind of hoping 𝘀PTC is experimenting still with their second mid laner Artifact, because he is a good mage player, so he should be able to pull out the Victor and carry his team. Because the more I see Hero, the less I like this double top lane setup. He's also just not the greatest top laner. Like, he's not a 𝘁𝗋𝗋, so even though you have another top laner, he's competent in laning phase. He can't make up for the issues he's causing with his champion pool.
I understand that, but I think somewhat the proof is in the pudding. They just look better without Artifact. And it's one of those very strange ones because Artifact did not play badly. I don't know his stats off the top of my head, but eye test wise, he was fine. Hang on, we'll come back to it as there is a little bit of a scuffle in the bot lane. Stuns going out. They lose that one hard. Engaging like that into a Taric is not the way.
Well, we've seen this so many times with VCS Leonas, always going for the early trades. It's not too horrible. She doesn't have any consumables, but that's a nice engage, and the Ignite drops quickly.
Yeah, CBL has to flash away. DNK coming in, has the spell shield, tags him up with the shadows. He's on a tiny bit of health. 𝘁𝗃 will flash forward, but now the teleports arrive. Hero, he comes in on half health, does get the big 𝘁𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗃 to try and get the kill. He succeeds, he gets away. Penguin enters from the river. Tries to get in, has an E onto DNK, needs to find a knock-up. The zap isn't there. It's still a 2v3, guys. You need to play this one careful. And they manage to disengage. It's a 1-for-1 in the end.
And we actually see so much of these two teams. They show us their identity early on in the game. Team Secret, the better early game team. Great pathing from DNK, knowing how to set up and accelerate the game. SBTC also shows that they are willing to use Hero to try and protect them. Those are actually a pretty bad play. And then Team Secret, on the other hand, overcommits to the dive, as they always do, even in the early game already. They're more known for this in the late game, but even here, they just go a little bit too deep. 𝘁𝗃 really wants to secure the kill, which is fair enough, but then afterwards, they could just all turn on Renekton here, but for some reason, 𝘁𝗃 walks back into the tower range, tried to dodge something there, but not quite able to.
He was trying to get a stun on Celebrity. Oh, but as we come back to live, the Nocturne has been taken down. Penguin going low. He'll die to the Essence Flux.
Look at Ezreal.
The Ezreal CBL needs to get out of this one. He can't. Double kill picked up for Ezreal. Hero answers back himself. But it's a very good start for the bot laner of Team Secret. Nagia now bearing down on Hero. He needs to try and find his way towards a tower. He's juking him. He's trying to play the loop. Can he get away? He certainly can't. Not with DNK joining the party. One stun, one cull, but you've got nowhere to go, Mr. Crocodile. It's time to meet your fate.
This Crocodile deals a lot of damage. DNK is actually scared to walk too close.
This is a lot of that's a lot of time being bought.
On the one hand, yeah, but it's still also a lot of time. Your mid lane is not in the mid lane, right? So the enemy mid laner got a free reset off of this. Let's see how this all started. 𝘁𝗃 getting caught, and then DNK, once again, Team Secret, a very aggressive team, trying to commit onto Penguin. But it's just level 6 Renekton at the start of the fight, looking like it's going to turn into SE's favor. Eddie arrives to save the day, and it's a double kill for Ezreal as well. So kills to DNK and to Eddie, two of the main carries of the team. On the cost of Nagia's time, I guess. But he was fine in top lane. Look at the wave right now, shoving in. Look at top lane anyway.
Oh, okay. They play a replay, we get a kill. That's how the league works.
And DNK,
as we come in, the first paranoia is a success.
DNK's unlocked now. He's level 6, he got the shutdown. He's off to a serrated Dirk, so he is really ready to dominate this game. The one game he has played in Nocturne, he's only played it once, even though everyone is claiming that this champion is broken on this patch. DNK has only played one Nocturne game, and he smurfed that one. They dominated the game. I don't remember his stats, but he was absolutely beautiful in setting up his team.
What happens here?
Yeah,
so this actually starts with 𝘁𝗀𝗀 dying, I assume. No? Yeah, of course it does. 𝘁𝗀𝗀's the one that died. Wow, I had my teams mixed up in my head there. My mistake. Of course it starts with him dying. Well played there by Team Secret, using their side lane pressure excellently.
Yeah, a lot committed to this kill, and maybe more than 𝘁𝗀𝗀 was anticipating. But now forget about all these boring replays. They're happening way too many times. There's a much more interesting thing on our screen. It's the favorite of the fans and the preseason. Look at the item that's coming in from DNK. 8 minutes. We have an Action Arm arc. Let's go. This is going to be fun for SE.
Yeah, look, last time they played this, you know, it was a blackout at the, I think it was Team Flash House, because the lights were going out every 20 seconds. This time, a little bit of a harder opponent on the side of SE, but certainly this Nocturne off to a fantastic start. We could definitely be getting a very dark game if he can keep the snowball rolling. Checking in on the other lanes, though. They do have a 𝘀😁 who is doing fine in CS. He's not ahead in the matchup due to those 2 kills. But a 𝘀😁 that is safely scaling. is a pretty good situation for SE.
Yeah, it's not only 𝘀𝗰𝗋, it's Celebrity's 𝘀𝗰𝗋. It's the pentakill got on 𝘀𝗰𝗋, one of the most pentakill, likely champions to pentakill, I should say. So we might be in for something here. All the gold on his E side is actually on Hero, which, yeah, it's not the worst, because Renekton scales very well with early gold in the mid game, so he provides a huge threat. He can actually get on top of 𝘁𝗀𝗀, on Nagia, even just one-shot all the 𝘀cie members. It's not going to bode well for the late game, though, because we all know Renekton late game, haha, good joke. But yeah, they need to transition some of the gold, some of the snowball into Celebrity, but there's still some time. This team's not known for their early game. We know they're the second worst early game team in the league, just barely behind Flash in that category. So we don't expect them to do well in the early game, especially against Team Secret, who have looked pretty good in the pre-15-minute mark. But Penguin securing this first dragon is going to go a long way of stalling the game, giving Celebrity time, giving Emperor time to get to some items. So they are on their course to victory. Not that Team Secret is not on theirs, but both teams playing to the win conditions, and it looks like Secret wants to play mostly...
mid lane.
Oh, but he is Nocturne.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to see it. They're going in on the Renekton. They are going under tower to try and take him down. Hero fending them off well. Hero will escape.
Yuck.
Very yuck, but we go straight into another player. The tower has fallen. 𝘀𝗀 overstayed his welcome. He will go down to Celebrity. He gets excited, sprints on forward, trying to make Eddie into the sprinter. But the zap not landing means Eddie can escape.
And if you were wondering why this team that is playing such a nice proactive early game is the 7th place team, well, look at evidence number 1. This was unnecessary on so many levels. They tried to gank the hardest champion to gank. They didn't account for his MR boots, so he doesn't get stunned as long. He's close to his tower, he has mobility, he has his ultimate for extra HP, he poses a threat to you in the counter dive. And meanwhile, the enemy team had all the objectives on the map, was able to set up the 𝘀𝗰𝗋s, the one win condition you don't want them to unlock, so Team Secret just not thinking about what they're doing in the game. There was no need to go for this kill on Renekton. Just go to the bot lane, protect your bot lane, help your 2-0 Ezreal to stay ahead of the curve against Celebrity. Instead, they get 2 towers, a kill on Celebrity, and platings as well, I believe. So 𝘀𝗰𝗋s is now online, and they're 1 quick gold behind, out of nowhere.
Yeah, this was a huge mistake there coming out of Team Secret. It's a real shame to see it, as if you're a Team Secret fan, that is, as it does get this 𝘀𝗰𝗋s very far ahead. Celebrity, someone we've had our eyes on for a while, but certainly this split as an excellent AD carry player. Gone the Kraken Slayer on the 𝘀𝗰𝗋s, so the max DPS build. Have been seeing a lot of Gale Force just because, you know, a dash is pretty good. What do you think of the item choice and the Trinity Force on the Ezreal?
So I always think if you pick something like Taric, which is only there to peel for 𝘀𝗰𝗋s, the 𝘀𝗰𝗋s should go full damage, because you're already investing a whole pick to protect the 𝘀𝗰𝗋s, so she shouldn't die. If she dies, then your pick of Taric was not good. So I think this is, most of the time, this is the correct item choice. There are instances where you still need the extra protection when everything dives on top of you. But in this game, it should be relatively easy to peel for the 𝘀𝗰𝗋s. You have Emperor and Gragas. You have Hero who can buy space and time. Same goes for Penguin. But then CBL is the main peel.
Penguin has ult.
Yep, that should be the kill.
Here they go, Everfrost. Yeah, they need to get the fear down. It's a good stun into, but the gold card, once again, why are you ganking the guy with Merc Treads?
And meanwhile, SE already on the next tower. So just go to that tower. Your Nocturne is still super strong. If you protect this tower, if you go on Celebrity, you can force the Taric ult, and that's a very long cooldown that gives you a nice opportunity in the next 2.5 minutes to strike again. Instead, they just try to focus on the one target that's almost impossible to kill. They don't even get any summoners from him. So
no, they got his ult. Cool, Dominus. Much shorter cooldown than the Paranoia. It's just not very good gameplay there out of DNK. I'm not sure who's making this call to dogpile the mid lane, but it's absolutely not working out.
I think it's just they haven't checked items. They think they have double CC, but yeah, there's the Merc Treads.
Oh,
now another one, though.
We have a catch. Penguin will buy a lot of time with the Crescent Guard. The Cosmic Radiance goes off as well, so he's going to get a lot of healing done here. He does finally fall, but he's already killed the enemy jungle
look at Celebrity.
He does. They need to be careful around the Destiny gate. 𝘀_cie_𝗶𝗶𝗀 does get chunked down, and over the wall comes the cannon, flashing away. Is the Jinx getting as much damage again? Oh no, 𝘀𝗀𝗆! Oh, potentially sold out his AD carry there. Whips the Super Mega Death Rocket across the fight, but doesn't do enough damage. Manages to sidestep that True Shot barrage. But look at the front line. It's Hero and it's the 𝘀𝗀𝗆 cleaning it up.
Very dicey fight, but this Renekton is still super strong. We're still in the early parts of the game, so he's able to clean house. He's the main carry right now. Jinx? Who is Jinx? Jinx is just there to bait. Renekton is here to run away with the game, and SE win another game. They're now at a 3k gold lead out of nowhere. I mean, out of Team Secret throwing away fight after fight after fight, to be fair. And they commit against this Taric ult, which forces the Taric ult, but now they should disengage. They should already disengage when they see the sunglasses coming. Instead, they just stay in the fight, waste very, very important time. And yeah, you pointed it out, a little bit of betrayal here from 𝘀𝗀𝗆, almost selling his ADC.
𝘀𝗶𝗆 though, 𝘀𝗶𝗆, I didn't notice it during the play-by-play. He flashed in front of the Shuriken there.
Beautiful.
That Shuriken was heading straight for 𝘀elebrity's throat, and he full-on get-downed Mr. President in it.
And 𝘀𝗆𝗆 is
excellent.
Yeah, 𝘀𝗆𝗆 is actually one of the most improved is maybe the wrong word, the biggest step up from start to finish of the split, because he started and was immediately subbed out for their substitute support, because 𝘀𝗆𝗆 didn't look like the 𝘀𝗆𝗆 of old. But now, especially in some of the games against the better teams, he was most impressive, in my opinion, in their game against Cerberus, where he played Morgana and just completely destroyed 𝘀𝗀𝗆 on the map. They ended up losing the game still, but he showed that he can still keep up with all the prime support players of this league, and he used to be the best support player in spring 2020. Once again, showing us diversity in champion pool, usually known for his hooks, but he can also play peel, and now everything is looking SE.
𝘀𝗀𝗆's in a bit of trouble, but does fend it off well. The teleport from Hero will make sure they can't go under tower against him. Do they want to move forward? I don't think they can. And while they're doing this play onto the bot lane, they're losing things everywhere else. This Rift Herald decides not to charge. Okay, 𝘀𝗀𝗆 just deciding to sell people
There's
out.
a good opportunity.
The is here. This is actually really bad because the Get Excited doesn't go off, so 𝘀elebrity will fall down. The Cosmic Radius buying a lot of time. That's still a 4-man cannon ult. It's not doing enough damage due to that Taric ult, so now they turn it around. 3 kills picked up for SE.
Yep. Jinx is not the main carry at this point. Yes, she's the prime target, but there is a huge Renekton behind her. And you can't just stand there and take the full 2.5 seconds of Taric ult against all the AoE on the other side. The same mistake again on Team Secret. I like the initial engage. I think they actually pounced on their opportunity to kill the Jinx, but then they should have immediately disengaged. But Team Secret never disengages. That's just not in their playbook, and it's hurting them. I'm liking the Taric pick more and more the more I see it. Yes, they fell behind in the early game, as we expected. Yes, the early laning phase in bot lane wasn't the greatest, but it doesn't matter, because Team Secret is going to throw inevitably, especially with something like a Nocturne in their composition. They only know one way, and that is in. And one of the strongest champions against that kind of playstyle is the Taric, so I'm actually really excited to see if we draw a ban on Taric, or can see a repeat of Taric in the second game.
It would certainly be interesting, but yeah, I'm not sure what the Rift Herald was doing here. Something very strange. As we do see in the picture-in-picture, DNK has fallen to 𝘀elebrity. But yeah, it's just this Taric ult. Look how much value it gets. This cannon ult does nothing.
Yep. It completely denies the cannon. The Nagia, of course, is out of position. Meanwhile, Hero is just a monster, diving on top of the enemy backline, and there's nothing Eddie can do. Eddie went for the anti-𝘀𝗰𝗆 build today with the... instead of going for Sundra, so he's not really too well equipped to deal with a strong Hero. He's much more trying to snipe 𝘀elebrity here, going for Trinity. As Hero is on the hunt again.
Yeah, I think you need to say that Hero's a weakness to his team more often your way, because apparently any criticism just powers him up. Because he's definitely not causing problems for his team this game. The only problems he's causing are for Team Secret's hope for success.
That's for sure. 2 items done now for DNK. He has a lot of damage under his belt, but it doesn't seem to be enough, and he's unbelievably squishy. So if he flies in, it's a one-way mission. He's a missile, basically. He just explodes on 𝘀elebrity, and either 𝘀elebrity dies or the missile is just gone. Either way, he's going to die in the fight, so the Axiom Arm also not super valuable if you just die every single engage. Let's see if he can find a way to orchestrate his way back into the game. I can't really see it right now. We're at 6k gold deficit.
So what happened here? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's Nocturne for you.
Why did you think that would work, DNK? That's not a good decision, to say the least. Oh, Eddie gets tagged by the Wind Becomes Lightning, but is still an Ezreal. Will Essence shift away?
And this is something I actually want to praise SE for. Looking at their stats, I was wondering, how is this team in contention for players? No time for that.
We won't have time. They get into the Chemtech zone. They're all going to get Taric ulted. He can't actually dash to any of them because they're in the Chemtech zone. He presses it, but then he can't see them because of the gas.
Get disengaged. A little bit dicey once again for SE. It actually looked less comfortable than they were in the last few team fights. Not able and not willing to commit to the fight after the Taric ult came in, just the disengage ult, which is fine as well. Now there is a slight opportunity for, or a short opportunity for TS to attack them, because Taric ult is down still for 2 minutes roughly, and it's only level 1 ultimate, so cooldown is still very high. Hero though.
Now he's in trouble. The stun will land. Look at Hero in the backline drawing so much aggro. Gets the big shield. Will finally start going low, but gets healed up. Just walks on away. This Crocodile is borderline immortal.
Well, the Ezreal is dealing a decent amount of damage, but no heal reduction, so Hero actually stays alive, more than half HP again. Should be another dragon. Chemtech Soul is on the horizon. We all know what Chemtech Soul can do, especially with this kind of composition. We've all melees and then one ADC that's protected. Mr. President, get down, because we have zombie bodyguards now. Not now. In a while, I guess, but
yeah, in a little bit.
It's there as a win condition as well for SE. They don't need it. They have 5k gold. They had 6k gold even. So they really don't rely on this Dragon Soul to win the game, but it's a nice insurance policy if the game happens to go late.
That it is. Let's have a look at how this play came out. It really just is Hero being way too big for Team Secret to have even the possibility of handling.
Yeah, another issue was Eddie not actually being there to hit consistent Qs and auto attacks. He was too far away. He got a little bit of poke off with his ultimate, but wasn't really grouped with his team. Eddie actually in a decent position itemization-wise. He's 2 items into the game. Big power spike is hit. Has decent chunk of cooldown reduction. So if he gets to stack up his Qs, his passive, he is a threat, but at this point he needs more penetration, because all the bruisers of the others on the other side have equipped a little bit of armor. It's not actually true. Only one of them has gone for a little bit of armor, but the base armor is coming in. So DNK, once again, has to flash away.
Yep, he's in trouble. They throw the cask, just dealing some damage, knocking them away from the tower so that Celebrity can get the siege going. Just needs one more hit. There it is. Penguin goes low, but he will be all right. Hero moves into the back line, trying to take one down. He does. He gets DNK. The Cosmic Radiance will land. The sunglasses are on your way. The guitar riff signals a swift retreat. The tower has fallen now. Twisted Fate moving forward. This is perhaps Team Secret's last chance saloon. But look at the wallets. They're just getting absolutely slapped by them. Nagia now caught out by the Everfrost. He'll dive in. They can't even kill Penguin. He finally falls. But the damage has been done. Celebrity's excited once again. They bear down onto Eddie. They actually call it off. I think they want to go towards this Baron.
And the more I look at this composition, the more genius I find it, because all the bruisers also give Taric the time to fight in teamfights. Usually Taric is only known for his ultimate, right? But Taric is also one of the greatest healing spells in the game, especially in AoE situations. And your composition is fighting in 200 range of each other, so everyone is getting all the healing from the Taric, and he gets to auto attack here and there because no one can focus him down. So this Taric is providing insane value to his team. Taric is also one of the greatest supports together with Sona at enabling Baron. So that's always on the cards now for SE. They can just go to Baron. They're not going to lose any HP. It's a good catch on DNK. And for once he doesn't die because he isn't the one to pull the trigger. Meanwhile, Celebrity and DNK trade lives in life. But honestly,
that's a good trade.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Taric and how much healing he's going to get off in this fight. First of course, everyone turns golden. It's beautiful. They can't do anything. It's an inviolable formation. But yeah, CBL is the one to keep your eyes on. He gets stunned. Everyone tries to keep him down, but he just doesn't go down because he has so many other melee champs protecting him. There's one heal. And there's another one. That's so much value coming out of the Taric. And I need to see heal reduction from Team Secret. No one is willing to build it for some reason, but they need it so badly. Everyone is healing so much in the enemy team.
Yeah, we need to see it at least on the cannon, so at least the ultimate can apply it to, you know, most of the team. I don't think it's going to save them at this point, let's be honest. It is a 7k gold lead. It is a 3-item Jinx. It is a very powerful Renekton. I'm not sure what Team Secret could do to get back in this game. Penguin is going to find a little bit of a pick here. This could be the start. If they turn this around, the Super Mega Death Rocket comes through. Eddie flashing away, taking away that blue buff. DNK turns out the lights. They want to move in. The Cosmic Radiance doesn't come in time to save 𝘀𝘀. Actually, not a very good Taric ult at all. It really doesn't do anything. This could be SBTC overextending into the gas zone. They need to find their way out. There it is. Gas, gas, gas. They're on their way.
Where's the damage?
Going low. They're trying to turn it around. 𝘀𝗷 falling. Celebrity needs to be firing away. Gets excited. But it's just the 1-for-1. They still have the numbers advantage. Do Team Secret.
Oh, Celebrity.
Rocket will do it. There it is. Celebrity fired up. Will fall back. He's just desperately trying to lifesteal off of these creeps. Does DNK. DNK is so far off of his ultimate. No chance of that one coming in. Hero. Does he have the flash to get over the wall? He does not. Eddie whips an ult. Doesn't hit anyone. This is a very tense moment here, 𝘀𝗶𝗋, but I think they are finally going to disengage and move over towards Dragon.
Even after this almost perfect fight for Team Secret, as he comes out on top, they still have positioning on the Dragon, no smite, but Penguin's already alive again, so he's sprinting down, making a beeline for this Dragon. Should be easy for them to take. That's another Chemtech Dragon, and we might actually go to the zombie forms I always want to see. A little bit unlucky in the fight for Celebrity's crits. You should definitely keep your eyes on Celebrity in the next fight, because he had one auto attack from very far away on Eddie. If that crit, he actually gets the kill on Eddie and probably runs away with the whole fight. Unfortunately for him, not able to hit that one. Bad ADC, as we all know, doesn't crit in time. But yeah, I just can't see how Team Secret can win team fights. They just don't have the damage to pierce through all the melee champs, and Eddie is not playing aggressively enough to solo carry. We know 𝘀𝗏 can potentially be the solo carry of a team fight, but he's not hitting enough skill shots, he's not getting enough damage in. He's under a lot of pressure, because the enemy team knows perfectly well that he's the only threat as well. So he gets one initial kill, and this fight is going to last a while. But look at 𝘀𝗏.
This is a very messy fight.
Look at how useless 𝘀𝗏 is in this fight. He tries everything. He flashes over the wall. He has gold cards ready. He's trying to set up his team, but he's just not dealing any damage. He's just walking past them. And now we're close to Celebrity popping off. Look at this auto attack on Eddie. If that's a crit, yep.
If that's a crit, he kills it and runs forward.
Yep. He probably gets a pentakill there, or at least a triple kill. So Celebrity a little unlucky on the last auto attack on Eddie. But it doesn't matter, SE is in a great position. They can just play this slowly. This is a confident victory, and they are moving ahead of 𝘀𝗏 in the playoff race. Unless Team Secret has something to say about this Baron.
Yeah, look, at this point, Team Secret will probably just throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. You're so far behind that you may as well just try. Who cares if you lose at 27 minutes or if you lose at 35 minutes? A loss is a loss is a loss. Eddie needs to play it a little bit careful. But DNK and 𝘀𝗏 are on the flank. This could actually be pretty huge. They have not been spotted. Hero bearing down. They need to get in. They need to activate this flank 𝘀𝗏. I think they've just now realized where the cannon is. They move back towards the Baron. They're back in the pit. Does he have flash? He does. So 𝘀𝗏 can be huge in this fight. He needs to be huge for his team to have any chance. The shield comes out from the Aegis. Penguin going low. Has to use his smite. Could get one shot. There it is. Well done. 𝘀𝗏, though, with a massive barrel. 𝘀𝗏 flashes. Diffuses the situation. There's the Nocturne ultimate. This is a good start here as they picked up 2 kills. The Cosmic Radiance has
Look at 𝘀𝗏.
Now they just have to cut down Hero. Look in the back line. Look how much damage is going on from 𝘀𝗏. He gets one. Celebrity's going to come out of the Guardian Angel, and that's a 5-for-0 ace.
𝘀𝗏 doesn't
what
want
an
to die.
excellently played team fight.
This is surprising on so many levels. I think SBTC or SE really dropped the ball here. Celebrity didn't flash away from the incoming cannon, and they just stayed around Baron, got poked down by Eddie and all the other poke spells. 𝘀𝗏 comes to mind, 𝘁𝗏 comes to mind, I should say. And this time, Team Secret actually stays a little bit more patient, waits for their time to shine, waits for the trigger to be pulled a little bit longer than just 1 second at the start of the fight, and the game is back in fighting distance. Team Secret actually moves ahead in the gold totals as well. And if they actually care to check the enemy champions and build some hero reduction, I think they can win team fights now. We have an insanely strong 𝘀𝘀ie on the other side. And all the bruises for SPTC are AD damaged. So building that frozen heart will help them a lot.
If you ever want an illustration of why vision control is important and why Chemtech Rift screws with that, this is that fight.
Yeah,
they have no idea where 𝘀𝘀ie is.
Yeah, they lose track of 𝘀𝘀ie completely. And this smite from Penguin, he should just stay close to CBL to get all the heals. Now, 𝘀𝘀e tries to make something happen, but it's just too disconnected. Look at CBL and 𝘀𝘀ie. 𝘀𝘀ie is not firing at anyone. No auto attack, not a single auto attack in this fight. Now he gets one off, but dies immediately afterwards. Even throws down his 𝘂a, I believe. So his 𝘂a is down for the next fight as well. He didn't flash because there was nothing for him to flash to. But just bad communication, bad fight setup for SE. I think they were a little bit shook by their jungler just being sniped down by the enemy top laner. And then completely lost control of everything. And Team Secret, I wouldn't say in a winning position. They're still facing Chemtech Soul in 30 seconds.
But it's much more realistic now.
It is very close now. They can actually win team fights.
It turns out that, just like in Legends of Runeterra, Ezreal Kennen is apparently the way. Because they have looked fearsome.
Cam, this is the first Ezreal, I believe, the whole split. Maybe we had one in 11-19. I don't quite remember that patch, but no one has seen Ezreal in a while. But 𝘀𝘀ie is showing us some very good proficiency. And 𝘀𝘀ie, the prodigy, under Slader, right? To some extent at least. He was another very good Ezreal player. We lost Slader, our best Ezreal of the league, so maybe 𝘀𝘀ie can fill this gap, this hole in our league. And
they're denying the Chemtech Soul. SE can't even get close.
That's very nicely done. So Team Secret buys a lot of time for themselves. Still on a little bit of a clock, especially looking at 𝘀𝘀ie. And Nagia, what are you doing?
He's been caught out. Yeah, he's way too deep, just on the wrong side of town there. Cosmic Radiance goes down. Such a silly mistake there, and it costs them so much pressure.
They still have the poke of 𝘀𝘀ie, and no one can really get access on him, so he's eating forwards.
They're going to try and take this fight. Penguin goes gold. They try and use the Taric stun. Doesn't quite work out. 𝘀𝘀ie! Calm down, son. He has to use the flash to get away there, but he is doing a lot of damage. They will snipe down the Xin Zhao. He's really struggling to navigate the game at this point. 𝘀𝘀ie gets that cleanse.
That was a Captain Jack if I've ever seen one. That was beautiful.
I also think it was a 𝘀𝘀e.
It was actually 𝘀𝘀e. Yeah,
it wasn't even him doing the Captain Jack.
CBL, calm down there. But yeah, you can see Team Secret's team composition is actually very hard to get on top of now. Now that all the bruises have entered the late game, suddenly the Renekton can't get on top of targets. It's hard for Penguin to do so, especially when the enemy ADC has 150 armor, so even if he gets on top of Ezreal, there's nothing really to do. And this is just a darkness to play with them. He's nowhere close. Yeah, it's just... I like this a lot, because of course he has very low cooldown at this point in the game. Yeah, it's just Nagia getting caught in the Chemtech Rift. He thought he was safe there. Good ultimate from 𝘀𝘀e, but Nagia, just nothing to do for him. I think CBL was too quick to use this ultimate. I think he needs to hold on to the Taric ultimate to make it a little bit less of an easy tool to work around for Team Secret, because if you have Taric ult here, you can turn all the time, but Taric ult is down, so your biggest teamfight tool is not there, and 𝘀𝘀ie can do whatever he wants. No one can get on top of him. So,
yeah.
This is looking dicey now, and SPTC throwing away a game that was thought to be closed already. But the Baron really turned everything around here, and we are in for a late game scenario.
We certainly are. Not something that the VCS gets all the time your way, but I wouldn't want to cast it with anyone but you, as you might be the only person on planet Earth that knows what a VCS late game truly entails, like an old sailor telling whaling stories. This is looking a little bit rough now for SE, though. Like, Renekton, he's still very strong, but it's a late-game Renekton. It's not a hyper carry. Gragas, I mean, it's just a Gragas. He has a big barrel. That's about it. It kind of is the celebrity take-on show.
Yeah, so now it all depends on can 𝘀𝗶𝗶 get going, and the enemy team doesn't really have big tanky targets, so it's one of the greatest compositions to play against as 𝘀𝗰𝗋. Nothing can really stand in your way, especially in the late game. She's close to 80% crit, probably going for, I'd assume, something like a Bloodthirster here to get a little bit of lifesteal under her belt as well. She has added safety in items and in CBL, so she's really set up for success. 𝘁𝗀 is there, we have a Cleanse, we have a Flash, we have an Exhaust, Taric ult, so she shouldn't die. But Team Secret should also not try to kill her, so I want to see if Team Secret understands, acknowledges that yeah, 𝘀𝗀𝗏 is super scary, but if you never let him get any resets, then he can't get on top of you either. So I want to see them play around Eddie's range, around 𝘁𝗏's disengage, and just go for the targets that are on top of in front of them, I should say, and just go target by target by target, isolate 𝘀𝗀𝗏 and never let him strike in the fights. Because front to back against 𝘀𝗰𝗋 late game, you probably don't want to do this. So
No.
this is really a test for how well Team Secret can understand win conditions, especially in team fights, because they can win team fights, especially if they play them slowly and give Eddie the time to shine and stack up his damage.
Is this side lane a win condition? Is Kennen at the point where no one can really stop him in a side lane? I know Kennen is not normally a champion. We talk about on that front, but it doesn't look like 𝘀𝗀𝗏 can stop him.
Yeah, certainly doesn't. He's in 4 items. I wouldn't have expected him to be this quick and demolishing the tower, but you might be onto something here. Don't expect Team Secret of all teams to be able to play side lanes efficiently.
They did. They have done it in the past.
Yeah, not with these players, though.
No. But the coaching staff know how to do it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We have some hero reduction coming in finally as well.
15 seconds on Chemtech Drake.
Yeah, and Team Secret has full control over this one. I think it's just a steal angle for SE. They don't want to commit to the full fight. Or am I telling a lie? They're actually grouping up here. But look at Eddie. Eddie is the star of the show. He needs to get all the poke in. Penguin down to half HP already without doing anything.
They need to give something for 𝘁𝗏𝗏 to teleport to. Eddie moving away as, oh no, it starts out badly with 𝘂𝗏 being caught out.
He's
𝘁𝗏𝗏 racing in to try and save him, but can't do it in time. Nagia has a huge flank here. They have all the vision with that TF ult. Can Nagia find his way in? He's avoided the wards so far. He's
Teleport
not
up,
going to be able to do it for
Nagia.
too
Teleport
much
up.
longer. Could be a play, but he wants to get the fight. Here he comes. He goes straight on the back line. The Cosmic Radiance doesn't land in time. They take a lot of damage your way. Can they win out the back half of this fight? Can Team Secret turn this one around? It's a double kill already for the Ezreal. It's absolutely massive, but Xin will secure the dragon. Chemtech's soul is secured. Hero has 2 lives in this fight your way. And look at the damage he's doing with his first one. Big shield comes in from the stone plate. Here he is. He's getting up. The crocodile's back, boys. And he's charging them down. Can he get onto them? Not quite.
That's so menacing, that green crocodile sprinting at you. Oh my. But Team Secret, do they have the opportunity to win the game straight here? 26 seconds on 𝘀𝗀𝗏, 11 seconds on CBL.
They've only got 3 minions. They've got another wave behind it. They're just going to jump forward before he can clear the wave. They get him once, but he has his zombie form. If they can burst this down before he can kill minions, it's huge. There it is.
They got it.
Out.
They got it.
Coming on in. Penguin's back up. He has another life, but just hit the Nexus. Just hit the Nexus. Team Secret with a come from behind absolute blinder of a win.
And nothing pointed this way. Team Secret was 6k gold behind in the mid-game, and they are not known to be a mid-game team. They are horrible in the mid-game. But SE dropped the ball at the Baron. What a comeback victory, and Team Secret suddenly striking fear into SE, as SE is staring down a 0-1, and if they lose this series, they're not out of play of contention. They're actually still in a comfortable spot, but they should not lose to Secret. Wow, what a first game of the day.
It's a very good start. Let's hope that this kind of game continues. We're going to go to a little bit of a break before I try and get our analysts to tell us what the hell just happened. I'm sure they can figure it out. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Welcome back to everybody that just witnessed a VCS late game. We had a beautiful late game turnaround from Team Secret, picking up 1 win and they're just now 1 win away from the 3rd series win. But what a game. And it started with a pretty distinct champ select. Both teams had clear plans in mind and clear comps. And 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 was not super happy about what Team Secret did with their comp in at least the early game to mid game.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at these compositions, I mean, I'll start off by saying these compositions are both fine. They're both perfectly playable, and there's no major issues. Obviously, the problem with Team Secret's comp is that, theoretically speaking, they're on a bit of a timer, and they need to play around those key globals quite effectively, which means that, you know, you're wanting to use your Destiny Gate to go to another lane and gank someone. That's why you have Twisted Fate versus Renekton. You don't actually lane versus Renekton, you just push and move and push and move. So when suddenly we've got Paranoia dropping in the mid lane onto the big crocodile who has Merc Treads, you got a problem. Because Renekton just doesn't die. And then obviously you've wasted some of your key cooldowns and you're essentially just slowly but surely bleeding out of the game. However, credit where credit's due, they adapted sort of into the mid game, right? And they were able to sort of adjust their comp and play around the other advantage they had, which is the fact they have essentially got 3 range champs, versus 4 melee, which means that you can just poke over and over again. And it's actually not on them to be engaging like they were in the early to mid game, but actually on the flip side, it's for SE that needs to engage. They're the ones that need to pick the fights. And into an Ezreal where your only real engage is this Gragas, it's kind of difficult.
Let's just say they did pick a fight that they should not have done. Or at least Baron picked the fight and then just followed it up. So Clockwork, we had one team fight that brought TS back and gave them the opportunity to fight for this game and to turn it around. And I think you want to explain what happens.
Absolutely. This fight was the fight that defined the whole game because, as 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 said, SBTC needed to get the fight started. So they did, or they tried to. In here setup, they of course wanted to force the Baron to bait Secret to teamfight, but they did so with a very poor vision setup. They have no vision behind the Baron, and there is one word behind the wall. Nagia and 𝘀cie have teleport. Ultimates are up. SBTC start this Baron. This is already very risky. There comes the poke, which both me and SBTC seem to have forgotten during the draft. And here Penguin is already halfway down. SBTC now are in a bit of a predicament. They don't know if they should disengage or keep the fight up. They decide to keep the fight up, but Penguin is irrelevant at this point. Nagia finds the flank together with DNK, and at this point SBTC are forced to engage. They try to go in, but Hero and Emperor cannot do anything against Eddie. He is untouchable. He can poke at will. Team Secret SBTC have no answer against this Ezreal. He is literally free firing, and Penguin is forced to smite. He gets caught, and at this point the fight is already over. Despite Emperor Great Barrel, he now needs to disengage, but lights are turned out. Everyone on Team Secret still has the ultimates, and Nagia closes the fight perfectly. I can't believe I'm praising a canon player, but here, this is what happened, and SBTC gets completely cleaned up, and everything started from this vision setup, allowing Team Secret to arrange themselves perfectly around this Baron, and what a turnaround. This does not look like a 7th place team. Well played to Team Secret, incredible.
Definitely well played. And also one thing I need to mention as someone that has played AD carry for most of his League of Legends time, you see a team with Ezreal that is, or has been for the last 2 seasons, just building armor as 3rd and 4th item with 166 armor. Then you have a TF, then you have a cannon. They both buy Zhonya's, so they also have a lot of armor. And then you have a full tank Leona. And what do you pick up? You pick up BT as 6th item without buying Lord Dominic's, which is just, in my opinion, reportable as an AD carry. But anyway, let's get into the draft for Game 2 and look at what SE are banning. It's the Nocturne pick.
Yeah, but surprisingly, the Ezreal still going to be on the table. I feel like that was genuinely the MVP pick in that one. I mean, Eddie had a pop-off performance in it, slowly but surely playing out the team fights, effectively. And I'm excited to see, whether 𝘀cie will try and pivot away from things like the Taric. It was very, successful, at least in the early to mid game. But the problem is they couldn't engage properly due to the rest of their picks with it. So, will they make that adaptation to help include that pick, or will they just go back to something else?
That's
like
actually
VCS
a decent
teams.
question.
Yeah, VCS teams have been absolutely obsessed with engage picks like Leona, like Alistar, and so on. So it's very refreshing to see teams starting to pull out this adapting pick, like the Taric, like the Ezreal. Of course, someone has to win and someone has to lose, but it's interesting that they're starting to find solutions and answer to the constant engage. And of course, when you pick disengage against disengage, the one with damage eventually wins. So Ezreal was great, and it's still on the table. Team Secret can still pick it. Probably it's going to be something that they will reserve for the later stages of the draft, since, of course, it needs a composition around. So let's see if Team Secret evaluate this into the Caitlyn could be a good answer to reply to the range that Caitlyn brings. Of course, not a great idea, because in the laning stage, it's a bit hard to play in the first minutes. We've seen also Graves, which can be a powerful flex pick in both top lane and jungler. I don't know if DNK played Graves that much.
Yeah. So the one thing I was going to mention quickly is just the fact that this Graves pick does seem like something that DNK would be really effective on, right? We've seen the early aggression and proactivity that comes through, and it's one of those marksman-based carries we've seen. Combine that with the ability to just sort of take over and have things like the smoke screen that's going to be good against this Caitlyn pick that can be really annoying to deal with. There's a lot of options now available for the rest of your draft. However, there is something I want to mention, which I doubt we'll see, but I need to mention it anyway. The Morgana angle here for 𝘀cie is disgustingly good. If you can get this Morgana now into one of these, which we're expecting to be melee-based, bruiser supports, Leona, Solar Flare gets blocked, what are you going to do? Nautilus, Depth Charge gets blocked, what are you going to do? You've got yourself a lot of options, and it gives you free trap setup as well. It's like an all-in-one buy. Don't know if it's the champion pool, we'll have to see.
Also, setting up for the Needle.
I love Morgana here. Look, the Morgana is amazing here. Like, it won't come through. We know it won't. But it's Nidalee Renekton. Oh, I love point and click CC into a free spear. Oh, sign me up for the javelin.
Yeah, I will also point out that on the side of SPTC, the support has been benched. CBL is not playing. It's Spear playing. Now I'm going to check, because we have seen a Morgana pick in the VCS in the past, and it was probably Fear. Now I'm checking on the database. Meanwhile, I'm also gonna reinforce that in this case, Team Secret have a very reduced, very low range composition with the Graves, with the Ornn. Of course, 𝘀cie with the Vex still has some option to long range engage, but as 𝘀cie would say, against the Caitlyn, against the Nidalee, like Ornn and Graves are going to have a hard time. So they need something to allow themselves more range. Of course, Jhin is an option, not an option that I personally like, because he's not going to be the main carry, but still, like, this long range setups and crowd control can be very crucial to Team Secret composition.
Yeah, it does also. Oh, sorry, go.
No. I just want to see what Nidalee can do, because Penguins Nidalee just got banned the last Champ Select, and it feels like they just go for a very different approach to the game as they have been before, with Caitlyn, with Nidalee. Renekton, well, that's just a good pick for hero. And now they pick up Leona for the bot lane, and on top of the Caitlyn with Morgana, as you mentioned, still open. Feels a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, first, it would make sense if you do something like Galio as well, or some dive-based mid, which Aatrox, it's going to most likely go towards top. You then have the Renekton in the mid, or, either or, with hero having a decent performance. The idea, I think, here is if you do Morgana now, you immediately get slapped by 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀, and then you're in a lot of trouble. because at that point it's really difficult to play the Morgana into 𝘁𝗁 matchup, and at that point you then have a lot of issues with bouncing grenade push, and then things like the W and the trap setup to actually get priority and establish decent, protection. Instead, we're going to see the 𝘁𝘁star come through, so a lot more engage, which, given the fact we do have such a low range comp, you need the engage to sort of make up for that, so you can have that sort of distant closing capabilities for these things like the Graves and the Vex. Only issue being a little bit of a magic damage issue if this Vex does fall behind, so any sort of rotation plays mid could be devastating.
I also would say both teams have a pretty big lack of magic damage if Nearly does not land any spears or Vex falls behind, so both teams need to check their armor items. And if they buy a lot of armor items, maybe armor pattern for Lady Carry. Just saying. Just saying. Just, that's just me being a bit butthurt about the item choice last game. But anyway, is it the first win in a while for Team Secret? Are they ruining 𝘀cie's playoff hopes, Clockwork? What do you think? Is it the hype time? Is it time for you to hype?
I would say yes. This composition by SBTC, except the Caitlyn, they want to go in, they want to brawl with the Aatrox, with the Renekton, they want to jump in. But Team Secret has good kiting with the Graves, with the 𝘁𝘁star also, with the Jhin. They can keep themselves at bay, stop the engage, and then reinitiate later. So if they can navigate the mid to late game fairly well, I think Team Secret has the 2-0 here.
Wow. From all I've heard from you, Recollect, you are 100% correct in your predictions. You said Team Secret last time. So, tell me, is it time for a 2-0 Team Secret win?
If Celebrity doesn't build Kraken, I think that Team Secret just auto wins, because I don't think that anyone can ever kill Ornn or 𝘁𝘁star in this composition. So, don't expect Caitlyn Kraken anyway. It never really happens. Or if no pen comes through, then hey, it's a free win. But I've got to give it to Team Secret. Why not? I want to see a 2-0. Give me a free one. Let's get that on the board. Give us our first upset of the day. I'm ready.
Oh boy, 2 analysts picking Team Secret to 2-0. And 𝘀cie, it is their playoffs run on the line. They obviously can still make it if they lose, but they have a really hard time. They have to win against Skye and then win the next game. So 2 analysts for Team Secret. Let's see what our casters have to say about that. Take it away.
So, your way. Looking at this draft, how much pain are you in on a scale from 1 to 10?
Exactly. Yes, is my answer. Yes. Team Secret is trying to offend me with this draft. Oh my. They've picked 4 of the champs I hate the most. Nice. It's only 𝘁𝗁's mid lane could come in to make it worse, I guess. But wow. Graves jungle, Jhin ADC, 𝘁𝘁star support, and on top of that, an Ornn in the top lane. Yikes.
That said, I do think it comes together to be a pretty cohesive comp. Like, I understand that there are some issues with it. I'm not a huge fan of putting Eddie onto the Jhin, but I do think the composition overall is pretty good.
I think it lacks damage, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bit of wear damage.
I think it can work very well if certain players get into a decent position. So if Jhin gets the 2 items unscathed as we jump into game, if, say, the Graves gets a little bit ahead, if Park is in a decent state, then yes, I think they have decent CC combination, they have good engage, they can make stuff work. But if Jhin is not really ahead, if Graves is just farming away, level 1 trade from Leona, I hate this, but it's also against 𝘁𝘁star, so 2 supports that should never trade level 1 and nothing happens. What a surprise.
Well, a fair bit of damage did come out. Eddie will whip that dancing grenade in, deal a little bit more to Celebrity. You don't really want to fight Celebrity while he's over towards the bushes, though. A lot of headshots will come in, as it is a Caitlyn early on. Caitlyn, one of the champions that can sort of go toe-to-toe with Jhin, but of course you can put that the other way as well. One of the champions can actually hold a Caitlyn back is the Jhin. How do you expect this early game to be going in the bot lane?
I don't think there's much that's going to come from this bot lane. I think, as you pointed out, both of these champions very good at clearing waves, very good at just harassing from afar. Looks like Caitlyn is having a little bit of a better time so far, using her range advantage. Nice bush ditch in and out of the bush. I like to see that. So Celebrity has the Caitlyn down. It's one of his long-standing ADCs as well, coming back to the meta. So always good to see an old player being confident on his old picks. As we have some background noise. Is that from your end?
Do we?
Yeah, a little bit coming.
Apologies. I should be able to sort that out. Give me 2 seconds.
Yep. No problem. So I don't really expect any kills to come from the bot lane, at least in the 2v2. But maybe with a gank, we have not the greatest gankers. If we look at the junglers, they don't really offer much CC, but an engage from 𝘀cie followed up by a Graves flash onto them or something could spell death for probably Fear rather than Celebrity. But yeah, I expect this to be a relatively slow early game with just a little bit of farming, especially from the junglers. Then maybe an opening from the mid lane, as we see right now.
Oh, Hero moving forward at the wrong time, and it gives a kill over to DNK.
This is really, really bad for the Renekton. He's not supposed to lose against the Vex. At least not the Sard.
Just an extended trade.
And
no, he's not.
It's a kill to Grace as well, which is already kind of walking against the direction I was pointing out, which where the Grace doesn't have the damage, the Jhin doesn't have the damage. Now the Grace is ahead of the curve. It's a dangerous one. You're trying to dive a cow.
Health. I don't like this, and yeah, they're just gonna call it off. Just gonna sit in the tri-bush for now. Oh, a teleport coming in. They actually want to make the play back. 𝘀cie uses that headbutt to get himself out, but 𝘁𝗏𝗀 comes in at light speed. Look at him go. He's rushing off. Hot Topic had a sail, and Vex had to get there quick. Penguin coming in now, trying to equalize something up, but it's still 3v2. There's no way for them to do it, and Team Secret will just walk on away.
And this is one of the things I love the most about the VCS. Yes, we have some bad teams. Yes, we have some teams that only won 2 series or 0 series, but they are still proactive. They are still looking for plays. They are still dangerous to play, especially in the early game. Team Secret even came back in the last game, but if you think back to the first 15 minutes, they were actually ahead. And Hero, what are you doing, my friend?
Not being much of a hero as 𝘁𝗏𝗀 flashes forward just to make sure, and this is now a 3-kill participation. Vex. Very early on in the game. Let's have a replay of this one. Look how fast he is. Look at her go.
Shadow can't even keep up. She's running away with the game, quite literally, at this point. What an amazing start. What is this team, and why haven't they showed up earlier in the split? It's unfortunate. They're out of players, but sometimes that's actually the breaking point. As Eddie is stepping up too far. This is dangerous.
Really well done by the Alistar there to buy him some space. He lands the W from long range. Eddie, just walk away. Your team can handle this one. Celebrity will go down to the tower. Tried to go for the flash pilt over Peacemaker. Didn't work out, though. Enter used his flash as well, and he'll get nothing. The Count's an absolute hero. The kill does come back in the end, but it doesn't matter because he trades his own life for it.
The quintessential greedy ADC. He could have just walked away. Everything was fine, but he wanted that kill so badly. Unfortunately, he had no damage to work with, so just base damage is not quite enough to kill 𝘀𝗀𝗀, and complete disaster has been averted. It's still pretty bad. It's still a calamity of some sorts for SE, but at least 𝘀𝗀𝗀 gets away with a kill, so not an entirely wasted time investment into the bot lane. This is not great from Eddie, and he should have died for this. He just overstayed his welcome. It's 1 HP off or something like that, and then so much CC. Also, 𝘀cie showing off his support mechanics.
Yeah, 𝘀ci's the real MVP of this. Like, Eddie, walk away. Eddie, just walk away.
Walk away, please.
Walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the greedy ADC classic. He could have lived, but he wanted the kill. In the end, he doesn't get the kill and he doesn't live, so maybe he has to think about that again. But Team Secret off to a 5-against-1 kill start. They need to show us they can play mid-game. We know they're good in the... Wow, okay. Well, I guess the handbags... The handbags are spreading. They have 3 already, because this crocodile is...
I mean, losing their value, honestly. They're meant to be, the 𝘀cie bags. Isn't the point of that somewhat exclusivity? But not very exclusive this game, as They're just going in every time, just robbing the store.
Yeah, and what a difference from game 1, where Hero was the strong point of SE, the point that carried them into the team fights and provided the rest of the team with the time to scale. This time he's in a bad situation, as is his top laner. And I don't actually really want to talk about Aatrox, because I have no idea why there's an Aatrox on my screen. But I guess he dies, so nice. Hello, Aatrox.
Yeah. Hello, Aatrox. Goodbye, Aatrox. Yeah, this is quite the stop here in the early game, 𝘀𝗋. As Team Secret off to an absolute blinder of a start, and we had concerns over their composition in terms of their damage, but when you get off to a start like this, it's going to resolve itself. 𝘁𝗀𝗀 is just going to 1v5.
And look at this. Team Secret actually aware of their surroundings, aware of the dive coming in. They give up a little bit of pressure, they give up a plating and one wave to not die. This is real growth from the side of Secret, not just randomly dying to every single attempt. They play with restraint, and they know their top side is winning very hard, so there's no need for the bot lane to die to very obvious dive. And in the meantime, 𝘀𝗀 is getting another objective under his belt. So this is just good macro play, good map reading ability from the second worst team in our league. But if they win this game, they actually tie SE in games 1. Not in game score, because they've lost many more games. They're 9-19 now. But SE has only won 10 games themselves. So if Team Secret picks up this one, they actually have the same number of games won as this team that's very likely to go to playoffs. And actually, I want to expand on this point, because Analyst Desk mentioned it. It's not the end of the world for SE. It's a setback, but they still own the head-to-head against 𝘀𝗀𝗏, the team that's in the best position. But they are going to play another series tomorrow against 𝘁𝗀. And 𝘁𝗀 is the direct competitor. They have lost to 𝘀𝗀 this week, 0-2. Now they're on the course of losing against Secret 0-2. You're going into 𝘁𝗀 tomorrow in the extra game with an 0-4? That's horrible.
Oh, 𝘁𝗀 diving in. The curtains are open. They're trying to take down Celebrity. They can't quite do it as Eddie has to cancel his ultimate. It's a little bit...
Oh no, Celebrity!
Ooh, from downtown, the man on the grassy knoll.
And they invest 4 players and it's just 1-for-1. What happens on top side in the meantime? It's a free reset for 𝘀𝗀. They can go for the mid tower. I think Hero doesn't have TP. This could be the full mid tower. They have Herald under the belts. They're not... Oh, 𝘀𝗀 wants another kill. He wants more Renekton backs. Crocodile. It's still valuable, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a strong material, you know? Maybe it's not about wealth. As they are...
This is very greedy. I would have liked to see them just go for the tower, honestly.
I'd replay timing, I'm going to be honest. But this just starts with 𝘀𝗀 walking into a trap. I wish we were back on live because they are making a play in the mid lane. There is a team fight brewing. And this is just Celebrity...
No one blocks this either.
Yeah.
SE is looking out of sorts today. And the whole week, honestly. 0-4 is close, imminent, and 𝘁𝗀 is tomorrow. Please use the Herald to get the tower.
Crocodile.
Please.
Yeah, I think they'll push the minion wave up and then drop it, right?
Nope.
Oh, Eddie. Nice cleanse.
𝘀𝗀, what's the plan? I think he's seeing something, another dimension or something. It's too obvious to us mere mortals to go for this tower.
As someone that has been an autofill jungler before, you don't want to drop it because fast recall, you don't get it.
The collapse is coming, maybe? No, he's just dabbing on them.
Yep, just having a look in as 𝘀𝗀 will clear out wards. They really can't step up to this Graves. He's already got his Youmuu's Ghost Blade. Vex can obviously join the party from quite far range as Leona has been caught out on the bot side, but will just get tickled in the back for her trouble. And 𝘀𝗋, it has slowed on down.
I'm puzzled by 𝘀𝗀's decisions. I just don't understand what he's trying to accomplish here. Now he's taking away all the experience and craves Eddie.
Eddie flashes away. Well done there. Hero baiting it out. They really want to keep this one going. 𝘀𝗀 has the ultimate. Gets the headbutt. And Vex has joined the fight. Is she going to cut their life into pieces? I think it is. As she goes forward with the Shadow Surge. Tags it again. This is her last resort. As Fear goes down. Is it going to be another reset? It is in time. So Vex could keep going forward, but just uses it to clear a wave. 𝘀𝗀 has finally dropped the Rift Herald as well on the top side. Wants all the gold for himself. That was the secret. And now he bears down onto 𝘀𝗏, who can only just survive.
And I'm going to say something you would never expect me to say, 𝘀𝗀x. listen closely. I'm only going to say it once. I am in love with this 𝘀𝗀𝗃 performance. Okay? 𝘀𝗀𝗃 is playing out of his mind. He's everywhere on the map. He's reacting to plays. Yes, On teleported in as well, but 𝘀𝗀𝗃 was ahead of him. He was already here, saving his bot lane, getting the counter play in.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, Penguin is very effective on his favorite champion, but this is just great macro from Team Secret, knowing when the dive comes in, it's a desperation plays from 𝘬𝗍. They have to look for desperation plays at this point. In the meantime, there's a top lane tower falling to the jungler, who's just taking away experience from his On. DNK, please, just play Graves top if you want to play Graves top, but don't take away all the experience from your On. He needs it. But he's super strong now. On is not.
He is very good.
At this point, it doesn't matter. It's a 6k gold lead, and Team Secret is looking so great.
They really are, and this is a continuance of the Team Secret resurgence. Too late for playoffs, but just in time to be a playoff spoiler as they do pick up another plate. DNK mining those incredibly fast. Here comes the collapse. 𝘬𝗏 doing a good job stopping Fear getting close. They dodge away from Penguin spears, and now they turn over towards Leona, who has to flash away.
It's looking all but over. Honestly, this game is just... They're not even looking like teams on the same level, and Team Secret is supposed to be the lower level team. So, yeah, 𝘬𝗍 is just not showing up this week, and maybe this is the time to turn it around. If they come back from this lead and finish the series with 2-1, that would get them so much confidence for tomorrow for their important clash against 𝘀𝗏. That one is really important for them, because 𝘀𝗏 has the head-to-head against 𝘬𝗍 at the moment. So if 𝘀𝗏 wins tomorrow, suddenly, even though the strength of schedule is better for 𝘬𝗍, it still looks dicey.
Penguin is caught out. Ooh, the Shadow Surge just misses, but 𝘀𝗀𝗃 doesn't care. Just goes on. In Ornalt will be used to try and help lock this one up.
DNK, you scumbag!
DNK, you absolute lemon. As they just turn it around, Celebrity will fall on the bottom side. 𝘬𝗏 picking up that kill. Teleports are called. 𝘀𝗀𝗃 bearing down on the cow. But, ooh, no, he does get yanked back by the chains. Let's have a look over at Eddie as he is trying to do battle with Fear. Can he be the fast to get away from 𝘀𝗀𝗃? Not quite. He will finally go down. A shutdown to the Aatrox. We need to go back over to the Alistar.
𝘬𝗏 is winning.
No, we don't. He is totally safe.
It's just one kill, but finally, after 10 attempts, they punish the enemy bot lane for the first time. They're going to give him some objectives for it, obviously. They're so far behind, they can't expect to trade evenly. But I'm loving this commitment from Team Secret. Just always doubling down on the plays. I would like to see 𝘁𝗏 actually go for some experience, but it doesn't matter. At this point, On is just here to provide some CC, not actually to bestow any items. But yeah, this punish, double TP. 𝘬𝗍 is... I guess decisive, at least, in this play. Not really the greatest display of mechanics, and somehow 𝘬𝗏 just walks away from the Renekton. But yeah, 𝘀𝗀𝗃 is showing us some nice animation cancels, so maybe the Aatrox is something to go back to later on in the split. He's 2-2, he's the only shining light so far in this game for his team. Aatrox, not really the champion to carry a team alone, but who knows? We've seen crazier things in the VCS, so all eyes on 𝘀𝗀𝗃 for 𝘬𝗍's comeback.
Yeah, look, if this comeback happens, it will be by 𝘀𝗀𝗃's hands, I'm sure, but I mean, it's interesting because they say it would take a monumental throw, but Game 1 just happened. And I think we would have been saying a pretty similar thing for Team Secret in that one. As Penguin now is caught out. Eddie moving in. Gale forces forward. No way for this kitty to escape. She will be taken down. The Shadow Surge lands. And in comes Vex. And instantly the team finishes.
Where did they go? They're just gone. 0-5 Renekton from Hero, and yeah, before the series started, I was pointing out the issues I'm having with Hero in the mid lane, just showing us top lane champion after top lane champion. Then in Game 1, he silenced me for good. Honestly, he played such an amazing Renekton game. I'm going to give him a little bit more time, even after this performance. But just to remind you, it is something that's in the back of my mind, and when they play again tomorrow against 𝘀𝗏, I think we have to look out for the drafting phase every time Hero refuses to go for a traditional mid lane champion.
Yeah, it's very true. Mythics are coming in. We see on our screen, 𝘀𝗏𝗃 has his crown. That's, Penguin.
Yeah, Penguin is not having the greatest of games. A little bit of a stinker from the Snidderly. He's not hitting any skill shots. He's not having any impact. And then baits the rest of his team into the collapse. Wow. These are two tanky champions, by the way. They're supposed to be the ones to withstand all the pressure for a while. Leona and Renekton dying in 1 millisecond. It's probably not boding well for your chances in the game.
It certainly isn't. Oh, look at that damage coming out of 𝘁𝗶𝗀𝗀. This Vex is tearing them up.
It's a 10k gold lead at 17 minutes. We are on course for the fastest game of the split. Actually, Team Flash is holding the record right now, if I remember correctly.
True. Yep.
Also against 𝘀𝑠PTC.
They are bearing down. They will take this inhibitor. Do they want it? No. I think church might be in session. As they don't. I mean, he can just quick draw over the wall whenever they want. Church is in session as they're not going to take an inhib pre-20.
Today he's DNKF, does not know fear, and here we go again.
Go! 𝘁𝗀𝗀 flies on in with the Shadow Surge. They've already picked up 2. Has he got the reset? No, not quite. There it is. Now he can go in again. He gets onto Penguin, and this is an absolute smashing performance here from Team Secret. The eye opens, and its gaze down on the chickens as they will pick up the kills. They will pick up the base, and they're just going to end the game pre-20.
I'm not sure if they can, but it's 20 kills to 3 at 18 minutes. They certainly want to end the game here. It's a 5-4-0 ace. Yeah, they've got
10 seconds.
They have some seconds left. Celebrity is going to spawn soon, though. Yep. They want the win. They want the win, and that's respectable. It would have been nice to have the record in sub 20 minutes, something that even 𝘀𝗀 is going to struggle to break right now, lying with Flash, interestingly enough. But they still can one-up the Flash record. I'm not sure what SE is trying to accomplish. They're just too close to the engage range. The analyst talked about the low range composition for TS, so it was kind of hard to engage, but it doesn't seem to be hard in this game because the enemy team is just standing in front of them and giving them all the opportunities to strike first. I actually don't want to look at the items because this is one of the biggest item differences ever. Just take a look, one glance at the jungle item comparison, and then look away for the rest of the game, because honestly, it's a slaughter on every single metric you can think of.
It absolutely is. That Team Secret will move back, pick themselves up a dragon as well. 𝘁𝗀𝗀 bearing down with 𝘁𝗀 onto hero. They want to add a 7th to this as they do look for him. They're not even going to commit the ultimate, nothing like that. Just want to scare him off, set up for the push onto the final tower.
Yeah, they're not super enthusiastic about killing the crocodile anymore because every player has a back at this point. So they've even gotten 1 extra for the coach. So now it's the analyst or the substitute player. And 𝘁𝗀 is like, do I really want to give my substitute another Renekton back? I guess not. Let's just let him walk away. One more might be in store for us as the second inhibitor falls at 20 minutes. They have 1 minute left to break the record. Let's see if they can do it.
They certainly do. They certainly can. There will be this final fight. I'm sure the engage will be coming in soon. We all know that once 3 inhibitors are down, the game may as well be over, so you may as well team fight beforehand, even if your chances are not good, and not good is possibly a bit generous. Oh no, don't go onto the fountain, 𝘁𝗀𝗀. Followed the Nidalee. He is just going to get zapped on down. Oh, what a shame for this Vex, but it doesn't really matter when the collateral damage will whip across the team and do so much damage out of DNK. Penguin misses another spear. Looking like Yanko's out here as they're trying to turn it around. They're just going to hit onto the Nexus. I just want to see the timer. I want to see if they can beat Team Flash's fastest game. I think they're going to be able to, as Eddie just needs to land this 4th shot onto the structure. Oh my god, hurry up and pull the trigger. They've got about 10 seconds to beat the record. Stop screwing around and beat the record. Beat the record, guys. Oh no, they just want to pad the stats. There it is. The screen goes black as the hopes of SE are extinguished.
And the upset was on the cards. No one really expected this to be clean for 𝘀PTC, but I was still predicting 𝘀PTC to win. I still thought, okay, they're going to get their things together and actually show up today and shows that they are worthy of the playoff berth. But the opposite is true. They got stomped by Team Secret of all teams, maybe even harder than they were stomped by 𝘀𝗀 earlier this week. They're now 0-4 and going to move into tomorrow's super important matchup against 𝘁𝗀 with the worst record you can imagine. And suddenly, even though their strength of schedule looks the best out of all the contenders, if they lose against Secret, who says they can't lose against Flash as well?
Yep. And they did get the fastest game there by about 20 seconds in the end. Well done there to Team Secret. What an absolute cracker of a game out of them. 2 crackers in this series. We are going to go back over to the VCS English analyst desk to break it all down. Neon, Recollect, Clockwork, you have your work cut out for you. Take it away.
Thank you very much, 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀𝘀. Great cast, and I just gotta say, Clockwork was so fast, nearly as fast as the game, in running and grabbing his Team Secret head.
I'll just say that I have always cheered for Team Secret. I have always believed in them. I never for a second doubted their composition, their roster. I was always a believer, and everyone who knows me, like, this hat does not have dust. Yeah, it's ready. It's ready to be worn. So I'm so glad that Team Secret came in with such a statement series in general. Game 1 was a bit slower. Game 2, they like tore away 𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀 cables. They didn't even allow them to connect.
I think at this point, that was just the fastest game in this whole split, and just crazy and immaculate gameplay, but also 𝘬𝗀, they looked out of shape, out of form. They looked completely desperate. 5 minutes into the game, they looked desperate. And Recollect, I feel bad for highlighting and nearly interrupting you in the champ select for the Nidalee pick, because this pick just didn't do anything.
I definitely wasn't muted, by the way. I'm sorry, I was too excited about the 𝘀𝗶𝗃 2-0. I just want to say, there was one thing that I was keeping an eye out for, and the main reason why I said Team Secret, they might just take this one. There was a reason why I said this could be an upset on the card, and it was always going to be that jungle. That was the thing that came out to me, is that I said before, Penguin is very inactive, very much likes to stay in their own jungle. And to be honest with you, if we're talking mid-jungle, there was a massive outworking in that early game. It was ridiculous. I mean, there can be no doubting that 𝘀𝗀𝗃 was 10 times ahead of this Renekton Nidalee. I didn't see a single real Renekton Nidalee combo play that came through. Every play they tried to make towards the bot side just fell apart completely, because Team Secret, not only were they playing with a tempo that we've wanted to see for a while now, like, this is something you need to see out this team. When they get going, they get going. But they weren't dying to counterplays. And that's the sign of a really strong team, is that you can make a proactive play that is beneficial and positive with no repercussions. They played the weak side so much better than they've played in any of the games I've at least been observing for research. They looked like a proper team, and I feel like this is one of those cases where if they play like this every single week, they are not a bottom 2 team. And I don't think anyone could say otherwise.
And that's what makes it feel so weird, that they're now just turning up and playing better and better. And they are not the team contesting for the 4th playoff slot. That is 𝘬𝗀. 𝘬𝗀 is the team that actually wants to get into the playoffs. And their chances just are still there. They're not out of it, but they're at least lower than they were before.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, now stop cheering for the Team Secret. And as Carrick said during the cast, this was not a win that 𝘀𝗶𝗃 mathematically needed to lock playoffs. They still have other games in the next weeks, and especially tomorrow against BTS, that is going to be clutch. And if this is the show, the performance that they're going to show, it's going to be very hard for them to look like a 4th place team. Because not only Secret was the better team today, 𝘀𝗶𝗃 looked unprepared, uncoordinated, and absolutely not ready to step up for the challenge. So I hope they just didn't take this series seriously. Sorry for the pun. But tomorrow, if they really mean to make playoffs, they need to get better coordination. As Recollect said, Penguin needs to work together more with his laners, especially with Hero. Otherwise, there's going to be no chance that they take the series against BTS tomorrow, and that's going to hurt.
And we talked a lot about 𝘬𝗀's chances. We should not forget that they and Sky are definitely two of the teams in the running, but right now the 4th place team are 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀. And with 𝘬cie losing, they had the 2-0 head-to-head over 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀. That makes it way better for 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀, and they now have to win against Team Flash, which on paper should be definitely a winnable matchup, since Flash did not win a single game this whole split. But seeing Team Secret play like that, our next match coming up might just be what we're looking for, a second upset. So stay tuned and wait for this game to happen.